it affects us all. We're all going to be affected by this, because if we live in a beautiful state like Nevada, the health of our state is the health of our land. If our land isn't healthy, then how can we as a people that live here be healthy? And so it impacts us all, the actual health of our wildlife populations and these ecosystems.
To many, the Endangered Species Act is an excellent law when it works to help species recovery, but is putting the greater sage grouse on the list going to be what's best? That's what we set out to discover.
The current situation with the sage grouse, it's the numbers for the bird are down to about 5,000. The amount of habitat that the bird has been reduced by half since the early 1900s due to development, due to ranching, due to wildfires, invasive species such as cheatgrass. They thrive in a sagebrush habitat, and they only have half of what they originally had, so they've been listed on the threatened species list. And last case scenario is that they'll be placed on the endangered species list, which if that happens, that could really harm the economy here in Nevada.
Based on the sage grouse current threats and needs, there are many who believe placing it on the endangered species list may only hinder its recovery, but there are still those who advocate for its listing.
I think the one way it might help is that it will bring it more into the spotlight for the general public.
If the bird is listed, the Bureau of Land Management will have to do consult with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on any management activities that occur within areas that are determined to be sage grouse habitat, which is a large percentage of northern Nevada. This will slow down the process of doing habitat restoration. It will also slow down the process of doing any other type of activity.
I think looking at a species, a single species, I think the very worst thing that we can do for sage grouse is to list it under the Endangered Species Act. West-wide, in the 11 western states that sage grouse is in, there's been, in the last 4 or 5 years, an unprecedented amount of cooperative conservation that's been happening across the board between federal agencies, private landowners, state agencies. We've made such great strides in learning how to get along and how to communicate and how to work cooperatively, that I would hate to see that lost.
I think you need to establish some core habitat zones. And that's the problem with that, is finding the money to do it. We have the Nature Conservancy, and they have rehabilitation projects, and that would basically be designed to prevent wildfire, to restore areas that have been burned, and then to protect some areas.
A number one problem we have with these wet meadow systems is they are surrounded by the pinyon and juniper trees that have encroached onto sagebrush ecosystems that surround these meadow systems. I believe we could have a large impact on improving habitat quickly by treating the uplands, removing the trees that surround these wet meadow systems, and reducing the impact predators would have on these hens, and improving these meadows to produce more food for the hens in the late summer period.
We all work together, we communicate, we collaborate, we don't set distinct boundaries, we each help each other out to do multiple conservation projects for the sage grouse. And I think, I've worked with other species that have been in decline, and I've never seen this kind of collaboration.
There are currently huge conservation efforts being made to preserve the greater sage grouse species. If the species is listed on the endangered species list, these efforts may be halted or stopped completely.
It will end up on the list if we don't actually do something.